Welcome back, guys, to another video, but today we are not talking about one singular movie. No, not at all. We're talking about many different films in my top 10 films of 2017. Whether you care or not. If you do, great. If not, you can click away. Disclaimer. This list that I am making is my own personal opinion of what I personally loved and enjoyed the most throughout 2017 cinematically out of what I have seen. There are many films that I did not see this year. That being said, let's go ahead and get started with the honorable mentions. Films that didn't quite make my top 10 list, but I still thought were fun, engaging, and possibly even great films that just weren't in my top 10. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly. So first we have The Florida Project. This film touched me emotionally, it had me close to tears at the end, and I think it's a very sweet and somewhat tragic film, and it's definitely worth watching. If you watch my review, I did like that movie. Another is Mother. Mother was a divisive film for audiences all the way across the board and was strange and bizarre and unique, but it was great in that it was so unique and different, and it just did what I wanted it to do, and it surprised me, and it was cool, but not quite on my top 10. John Wick Chapter 2. Now, this film isn't a guilty pleasure, but it's not necessarily a great film, I think. It falls under a category that is basically great action. It's so well done and crafted and choreographed that it's just a really fun time at the theater. Get Out is a fantastic film. It was funny, it was creepy, it was strange and off-putting. A lot of people say it's one of the best of the year. I don't personally think it is one of the best of the year, but I do think it is a very good time. My last honorable mention is going to be none other than Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok, for me, was a major surprise because I'm actually not a big Marvel Universe fan. I'm not a big comic book fan in general. For me, this film, it just was different. It went this cool, different comic route, and it had me laughing consistently and consistently entertained from start to finish, and I was thoroughly impressed by Thor Ragnarok. Now that we've got my honorable mentions out of the way, we are going to start off with number 10. It Comes at Night. It's a wonderful horror film that doesn't follow traditional horror tropes or cliches, and it's even difficult to call it a traditional horror film. It is definitely scary, it is definitely horrifying, but it's a slow burn and build to this suspenseful, dark, unnerving story that unfolds before you on the screen. It is beautifully shot and acted and supremely crafted with a large level of suspense. It deserves to be at my number 10 spot. Number 9 is the film that made the world go crazy out of a lady named Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman was a pleasant surprise from the DC Universe, completely subverting expectations just because of how kind of subpar most of the films in the DC Universe have been. This film was sweet and endearing with awesome action sequences and a great chemistry between the two leads, Chris Pine and Gal Gadot. I had a great time watching this, and that's why it deserves to be in my number 9 spot. Number 8. Stephen King's It, here in 2017, now is the highest grossing horror film of all time. It surpassed Sixth Sense. And I think it's incredibly well deserved. This film is creepy, it's entertaining, it's suspenseful. You've got a great young cast that has this quippy, clever chemistry about them that is almost Stranger Things-esque. I think it's a very well done Stephen King adaptation, and it leaves me super excited to see what they do for part 2 of this modern It. Number 7, here we go. We're moving right along. Here is going to be a film that has the same exact writer of 2 of some of my other very favorite films that include Hell or High Water and Sicario. This film is Wind River. Intense, suspenseful, and dark film. Wind River is a crime drama thriller that kind of, I think, flew under the radar this year, and I hope it gets some recognition because it's expertly written by Taylor Sheridan, and it's a wonderful wonderful directorial debut from him. This is a beautiful film, also a very dark film. It has great performances all the way across the board, especially from its lead, Jeremy Renner, and probably one of the best performances I've ever seen from him. I was enthralled with this movie from start to finish, and I cannot wait to see what else is turned out by Taylor Sheridan as not only a writer, but now a director. Number 6 is Dunkirk. Dunkirk is probably one of the best, and I mean best, war films that has ever been put to screen, at least for recent history. It's a thrill ride from start to finish. It is, once again, another epic that's been churned out by Christopher Nolan, because Christopher Nolan is most definitely a master at his craft and one of the best directors of epics that we have currently alive and working today. His direction, going along with Hans Zimmer's score, along with a ensemble cast that all does a great job, makes this film wholeheartedly worth watching and an experience that will keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time. Number 5, halfway there, and my number 5 pick actually is going to go to Coco. This was yet another hit by Pixar, and I would say it's the best film since at least Inside Out, but maybe even since Toy Story 3. I was an emotional mess at the end of this movie. It is beautiful visually and sentimentally, with a wonderful and touching tale for the entire family to get behind and watch. And it definitely, absolutely deserves my number 5 spot. Number 4, as we get to the end of the list, we get closer to the more recent films of the year, it appears, with Lady Bird. Lady Bird was a film that I would say took me by surprise. I didn't know what to really expect out of it. I know it had a lot of buzz surrounding it. However, when I went to go see it, it took me by surprise with its subtlety, and it was extremely authentic. It felt so real, with fantastic performances by Saoirse Ronan and Laurie Metcalf, our 2 leads in the film. An incredibly endearing story that once again just felt super real and authentic and was a great time at the theater. For that, it's my number 4 spot. Number 3. From the director of In Bruges, Martin McDonagh creates a near masterpiece and one of the best films from him, and definitely the best since In Bruges, with 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. This film is beautiful to look at, but is also wonderfully written, performed, and directed. The writing is acutely clever, dark, funny, and is almost a perfect blend of drama and comedy in this kind of black, dark comedy that we get. The lovely script as well as the great direction allowed for amazing performances from both Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell. I believe Sam Rockwell was one of the best male performances I saw the entire year, and I really desperately hope he gets recognition for it at the Academy Awards this year. My number 2 film is the best superhero film since The Dark Knight. Logan crafts a wonderful story that is a meaningful conclusion to Hugh Jackman's interpretation of Wolverine. I'm not some massive X-Men fan, but this film is so much more than that. It's a dramatic, dark, gritty tale that is almost akin to old school westerns. It has great performances from all of the leads, especially Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, and Daphne Keane. The story has a gritty exterior but a deep emotional core that will leave you feeling pretty emotional at the end of the movie. At least I did. I own the special edition steelbook of this movie for a reason. If you haven't seen it yet, it's definitely worth watching, and that's why it's my number 2 film. My number 1 film, the film that you have been waiting for since the beginning of the list, because that's how we're counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, right? There is one word to describe the film that has taken this spot, and for me, that is amazing. Blade Runner 2049 is visually stunning. It once again confirms that Denis Villeneuve is not only my personal favorite director, but one of the best directors working today. He's proven it time and time again with films like Prisoners, Sicario, Arrival, and now Blade Runner 2049. Additionally, if Roger Deakins, the cinematographer, who has been nominated, I believe, 13 times now for Best Cinematography by the Academy, does not win Best Cinematography, it will be a major disappointment and one of the greatest snubs of the history of the Oscars. This film sticks to its roots from the original classic Blade Runner, but then pushes it so much further than that, pioneering a new story with interesting new characters. Ryan Gosling is amazing as always. He also continues to prove himself as not just the pretty face and the heartthrob from The Notebook, but one of the best leading men in Hollywood today. He, with every other cast member, does a fantastic job, and this story is one of the best films to come out of 2017. It's a tense sci-fi noir with masterful visuals and cinematography, and it's beyond amazing, and it's exactly what I wanted when I went to go see it, and it's exactly the kind of experience that I want to get when I go to the theater. I love this movie, and that's why for me it is number one, numero uno. You know it. You know it. I know it. If you think otherwise, it's fake news. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for watching, and I will be coming out with another review soon, but I wanted to get this video out here this week just because we are in the new year. Happy 2018, and I will see you guys in the next review. Thanks. You know it. I know it, okay? I've got great confidence in this movie, and if you don't know it or you don't believe it, it's fake news, okay? Fake news, okay?